So putting aside the business needs, how do you feel about Ethereum from kind of a cypherpunk security standpoint?
It's interesting. I don't know the stats off the top of my head, but it feels like, on the privacy front, like with Tornado Cash, Ethereum has had more coverage and controversy than, I guess, with some of the Bitcoin mixers. I've generally been kind of bearish on Bitcoin mixing, and that's mainly from an economics standpoint, but also from a standpoint of managing the UTXOs with Bitcoin mixing. There's still, it's just a lot of possible ways to screw it up. It's not just a magic thing of, oh, you put your Bitcoin through the mixer and now you have great privacy. So you might be able to make an argument that like Ethereum's account-based model is actually more user-friendly for more practical mixing privacy there. But other than that, these are very different networks, right? Ethereum's trying to be more of a general purpose network, which is interesting because I think it allows for the narratives to shift a bit faster. You only really need, a handful of people to build a new dApp that becomes explosively popular for it to potentially significantly impact the driving force behind demand for ETH. And of course, or at least the original point of ETH was just to pay gas for whatever your smart contract and dApp interactions are. So it seems like that is really what Ethereum should be going for from a value perspective, is just letting as many people do as many things as possible on the network, which should drive more demand for gas. Bitcoin's a bit trickier because it's less flexible. It's harder to change. And you have to take more of a layered approach, I think, if you want to do more complex stuff and not have to deal with the morass of trying to navigate the consensus change governance process. So I don't know. I don't even really consider them to be in direct competition with each other. I think a lot of people, or you could call them maximalists or whatever, but I think a lot of people are perfectly happy for Bitcoin to be the more conservative, stable protocol that doesn't change very much, that that stability also helps to drive the value of the fact that people are less concerned that they're going to be rug pulled by rule changes, whereas Ethereum has for quite a while felt to be more like a Silicon Valley tech startup type of ethos of we're just going to try a whole bunch of things and see what sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. And I guess with that, you don't buy the ETH is money narrative.
No, not so much. I mean, I'm sure people have their own arguments for it, but at least I've always viewed it as, ETH is for powering smart contracts. Now, what is money? That turns into a whole other argument. I mean, it seems like you can use almost anything as money if it has sufficiently good properties that people can agree to use it as such.
Absolutely. Okay. And now, Ethereum kind of started out with this progressive and maybe even kind of statist bent. And they've come around, or I've found that many in the community have come around to Bitcoin's more libertarian and adversarial thinking. Do you see that as well? Kind of, we trust the government, but now they're kind of learning that maybe that's not the most wise approach.
Well, it's tough for me to comment too much on the community because I'm not as attuned to what's going on in Ethereum land. I think some people would point to some of the centralization and staking as being problematic. I'm not sure if there are projects or much progress being made to try to fix some of those incentives that have caused so much centralization and staking. As I said, though, there's more centralization in Bitcoin mining than I would like. It can get really tricky to try to compare these things because I think it's kind of like apples and oranges. But I do believe that Ethereum is not going away. I think that it has achieved escape velocity, if you will, on at least some of the parameters of decentralization, such that it's sufficiently dispersed that there are enough people working on it that it would be very difficult to kill the system, even if there was a critical problem.